What do we need to do to get a newer version of the Big Four Classic back together? Because
Oh
I
man.
said it because obviously Louisville and Indiana, I would rather than be playing in Assembly Hall, the Yum Center. Indy's great if you gotta play neutral site, but Louisville and IU are playing in Gainbridge this year. Indiana and Kentucky are playing in Lucas Oil Stadium next year. What do we have to do? I know you can't do it with Notre Dame anymore because Notre Dame's in the ACC, so that doesn't work. But you take Louisville, Kentucky, IU, Purdue, have Louisville play Indiana, Kentucky play Purdue 1 year, then you switch it. Louisville plays Purdue, Kentucky plays IU the next year. You stuff them all into Lucas Oil or Gainbridge, and and you fill that place up with Louisville, Kentucky, IU, and Purdue's kind of the ugly stepchild of that in terms of fan base traveling, but Purdue fans as well there, to where I think you would have spectacular atmospheres, a great doubleheader. You did it with the Big Four back in the late '80s, early '90s, and it was a hit. IU did the Crossroads Classic, which was very much a poor man's version of that for a while. I think that would be a spectacular way to kind of just celebrate what really is the epicenter of college basketball in this region for the four fan bases in the area that cares more about the sport than anywhere else.
Yeah, no, I think look, I would love to get that back out there. I'd love some games to be at Freedom Hall, even if it was the
Yes.
Kentucky Indiana thing. It
Well, I
looks
mean,
like
you
they're
do. I mean, and I'll put it this way: if you do a Big Four Classic, you do an Indy in 1 year, that could be a door to where maybe you could open it up and play it in the Yum Center
right.
because Louisville would be involved. Because I know you can't
Yeah,
because yeah, they have it in the deal where Kentucky can't play regular season games without Louisville being there,
permission.
which
Yeah.
is without permission. Maybe that's the way to get permission to have it there. Because I would love to have it in Freedom Hall. It would be absolutely spectacular to have it in Freedom Hall. The way Freedom Hall's set up, I know it worked great for the TBT, and they're playing there again this year, and they sold the thing out for IU, or not for IU, for the Louisville Kentucky TBT game. But let's be honest here. That thing belongs in the Yum Center
Yeah.
where they actually have the full basketball setup for seats still on the baselines.
Well, and it's funny to see, the whole notion around, them playing Gonzaga in Nashville and like they're going to
Like that's
Seattle to play.
ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like, I mean, look, maybe that's just, 20 years ago, times have changed from the standpoint of Kentucky fans. The masses prefer to go down there, and it's like you do it for the SEC tournament every year. But,
Well, no, I
uh,
think the reason they're going to Nashville is because they can't go to Louisville. And I know this is partially a Louisville podcast right now, but to be completely honest, I mean, IU plays games in Indy every year. Purdue plays games in Indy every year. North Carolina and Duke play games in Charlotte every year. The biggest brands play in the biggest cities, even
yeah.
if, Butler's not booting. I know it's a little different because it's not their home court, but Butler's
Right.
not booting Purdue and Indiana. UNC
It's
Charlotte's,
celebrating the
yeah,
sport.
it's celebrating the sport in the biggest city where, like it or not, there's a lot of Kentucky fans in Louisville and the surrounding areas as well. So I think that would be if they did the Big Four Classic, obviously Indy would be involved in but if they could get it to, and I know I'm probably asking for way too much here because if they honestly did it, they would probably just do it in Indy every year. But if you could find out a way to do it Indy 1 year, Yum Center the next, that is my personal dream
Yeah,
for
it would
college
be.
basketball
No,
scheduling.
it would be great, especially with all these neutral sites. My stance on it. I wish the city were a little bit more aggressive in trying to push and urge maybe the university to that. I think everyone's kind of working a little bit more hand in hand now for that.